we're now going into that minus 15 degrees, minus 20 degrees, and you freaking feel it, man. I mean, my parka has got, ice on it. My Camelback, my pipe for drinking water is totally solid frozen. It's ice, so no more water is coming through my pipe and whatnot. And so we just keep on going, one step at a time. And so the guides were awesome because we had this thing that they would shout, one team, and then we shout, one dream, and they would say, non-stop, and we would go to the top, and so you could hear us echoing in the mountain as they are shouting this to keep the spirits up and whatnot. And so it was, I think about at the 3:00 in the morning break that one of my friends from Gainesville, she comes to my exercise classes as well. Her name is Elsa. She wouldn't mind me saying this. She looked at me and she said to me, "What the hell did you get me into?" So because this is for many people, this is the hardest thing that they've ever done, right? And so, so the ascent was, it was, like I say, it was physically exhausting, but I felt exhilarated. Mentally, it was cold, and so you had to not think too much about the cold. There was very strong cohesion and a very strong, social connectedness with the group and with the guides and whatnot. And even though some people were fatigued, some people were kind of like, a little bit of head games play that were going on in their heads. I think we were still kind of energetically and emotionally strong. There was nobody cried or broke down or anything like that. The hardest climb, which felt like a 90-degree incline, was to Stella Point. And that's kind of like the last sign that you would get before Uhuru Peak. And when we reached Stella Point, the guides also said to us, this is about 45 minutes to Uhuru Peak right now. So now we've been climbing all night long, right? Leaving at 11:30, and it's round about just after 5 in the morning right now. So people wanted to take pictures there, and the guides are absolutely not. Let's keep on going. And so, but the environment is treacherous, so you can't see. I mean, you're basically looking at the person in front of you, and you've got your headlamp on. But I did look to my side, to the right side, and there's a cliff down probably about 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 feet. And to my right side, I could see the glacier starting to unfold. And the glaciers are probably, I don't know, to me it looks like it may be about 1,000, 2,000 feet high. And probably, it looked like it's going on for a mile, these glaciers. Just amazing to be able to see that, with the break of dawn. And of course it's white, so it shows up, on the mountain. But it was pretty scary to be able to know that you are here and just kind of like a few feet from you on your right-hand side, there's nothing. So Stella Point, 45 minutes, and we could actually, the guide let us know that we are now summiting and that we have reached Uhuru Peak. Very, very, very cold. A little bit of an anticlimax because there were people there already. And it's almost that people did bizarre things. Everybody wanted to be at the sign, and they started to push one another and kind of like, jump onto the sign. And I don't know if it was kind of like oxygen deprived or just happy to be there, a little bit of both. And very poor crowd control over there. So luckily our lead guide, he was pretty self-assertive and reserved like a 45-second for us, only our group. At the sign to have our pictures taken, and then I had my picture taken with my college, my university. University of Florida gave me a banner that says the College of Public Health and Health Professions, and I had that out there. But the wind was chopping at about 50 miles an hour, so I could never get the banner to stretch open because of the wind. And it was estimated that it could have been as much as minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit on top of the summit. So all of those things made it a little bit challenging to stay there for a long time. But what I do want to say is I did turn around at one point in time. And it was the most awesome, jaw-dropping, and amazing visual as well as spiritual experience that I had. Because, the sun was just rising, and I could see on the horizon, far down below, it was kind of like black, and then it was red, and then it was orange, and then it was amber, and then it was yellow, and then a kind of like a green, and then it was like a light blue. And it was just all these incredible colors that was starting to emerge. And I just looked at that. And who was the guy who played in Star Wars? Was it Shatner, William Shatner, the guy that went up with Bezos into outer space? And remember, on his recollection of his experience, he was saying that, it was like boom, and you just kind of you in this black space, and he just had a realization, I think that was similar to mine, that here I am in this omnipotent, omnipresent, omni-relational, infinity with intelligence and wisdom and magnificence all around me. And I'm part of this. And I'm just kind of like experiencing the incredible fullness of that moment, and just felt my heart and my chest just exploding within me. And it was just, wow. To be here now and to be able to be so alive and to understand maybe for the second time what it really means, that this moment is the only true moment that we have. It's called the present because it is a gift. And that realization that we need to embrace every moment and every second of the day with that rigor and with that vigor and with that vitality and with that appreciation of being here now. Because our lives are precious gifts so that we can interact with one another and all the beauty and the splendor and the greatness and the magnificence of nature and the way that we do. And that was just kind of the epitome. That was the zenith. That was the highlight for me of just that realization, So even if I think about it now, it's just taking me back to that moment and just letting me feel, again, just so insignificant, but part of an ultimate plan of love and devotion and divinity and magnificence and splendor.
Did the sounds go away in that moment? In
It
sporting
did.
events, it feels like they talk about how they didn't hear anything around them. It's almost like people could be yelling at them right in their ear and they can't hear a word because they're so... Did that happen to you in that moment to where you
That's
could...
a fabulous question, because there was nothing but just essence. That's the essence of being, the void, the emptiness and the fullness, combined together. And the sounds, I can't recall that I heard anything or really saw anybody. I was just so 110% absorbed in that moment of bliss, ecstasy, splendor, beauty, magnificence. There's almost not words to describe that moment.
Wow. I wonder if you don't go through was it 11 days or 9 days?
Yeah, it was 8 days.
8 days.
And then summiting.
If you don't go through that pain and that cold and maybe
have an appreciation,
everything, even life in general, if that moment doesn't unfold like that for you, to be able to have that spiritual moment and feel it. So and I feel it, honestly, I wasn't there, but I can feel it through your words, how incredible that moment was. Thank you for sharing that. So then you're on top of the summit for how long? Minutes? Hours?
Yeah. So that's the other realization, that you are standing at the highest freestanding, on top of the highest peak of the highest freestanding mountain in the world, the roof of Africa. And so that in itself is an incredible experience. We were on top. We summited at 5 after 6 in the morning. At about 20 after 6, one of the members of our group started becoming hypothermic. And so one of the guides grabbed her by her arm, and I was shivering as well. I wasn't quite hypothermic because I felt at my full senses, but I was very, very cold. And the guide that was with me the entire time said to me, "Go with them." And the guide grabbed this woman by her arm, and he had her backpack on his back and her walking sticks in his hand, and he started running down the mountain with her, because that's what they do if you are hypothermic. And I am running right behind them. So So we are blazing a trail. That felt like mountain skiing with hiking boots on. we blazing a trail down this mountain, not the way that we came up, just making our own trail as we go down this mountain. So, that's when you just surrender, right? Because you just believe in the guides and you just believe they know what they are doing. By the way, our lead guide has summited Kilimanjaro over 200 times.
Wow.
Over 200 times.
I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you're wondering why I'm pointing my fingers like this, it's because momentarily a video is going to pop up here and here that you can enjoy watching. Please like and subscribe to this channel, as well as turn your notifications on. My mom would really appreciate it.